let's have a little fun here now, Brad, because we are about 3.5 months away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. Why don't we do a little NFL draft premonitions? Here are the current top 10 in the NFL draft. Of course, it is the Las Vegas Raiders going number 1, the Jets going 2, the Cardinals going 3, Titans at 4, the Giants will pick 5, the Browns will pick 6, the Commanders at 7, the Saints at 8, the Kansas City Chiefs, that's right, that's not a typo, that is their pick. They will be drafting 9, and then the Cincinnati Bengals drafting number 10. Our guy Brandon Combs, our producer, has cooked up some good questions for us. So I think the first one that I want to ask you, Brad, and we'll give our thoughts on all of these, are the top 3 picks going to be quarterbacks? What do you say?
Negativo. The first 2, definitely. Fernando Mendoza is practically the word, the G word. I don't want to jinx it. The phrases that are usually thrown out there that apply, but he's going to go number 1 overall to Las Vegas. Dante Moore of Oregon, I feel, is going to go number 2. You look at mock draft central right now, 78% of the mock drafters, and it's an aggregate. They're pulling from all over the internet, all the big names, even some of the smaller ones. 78% have more going to the Jets there, number 2. And then Arizona, there's a little bit split right now in the consensus. Today, Alvaro Reese, the outstanding linebacker from the Ohio State, I have to say that for copyright purposes, announced that he is declared for the NFL draft. He's a stud, and Arizona has so many needs defensively. You and I both believe they're going to go with a defensive-minded new head coach. Maybe it's Jesse Minter, maybe it's Jeff Hafley, maybe it's somebody else. But if they go that direction, like 10,000%, I think they're going to go defense. And Reese, I think, is an instant star in the NFL, would really rack the tackles promptly if he wound up there in the Sonoran Desert. So, again, I think let's go Mendoza, Moore, Reese, 1, 2, 3. 2 out of 3 of those will be quarterback, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is going to be Fernando Mendoza 1, and the Jets, who dying for a quarterback. They're going to go with Dante Moore. Now, funny enough, Dante Moore posting some stuff on Instagram, maybe already poking some fun at the New York Jets. So look, I don't think Dante Moore is not a guy that should have the power to be like, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going to the Jets. Like, don't draft me. Like, sorry, pal. If the Jets want you, you're going to be a New York Jet, and maybe you can turn that franchise around. So, yeah, I do ultimately think it's Mendoza 1, it's Dante Moore 2. Ty Simpson, who declared for the draft yesterday, you and I both talked about it. We both think it's a mistake. We both think he's leaving a year early. He is projected to be the 3rd quarterback taken, maybe in the 1st round. I think he could slide. I think he could slide to the 3rd or even the 4th round here. So I don't know if there's going to be any other quarterback taken in the 1st, let alone the 2nd round. I agree with you. Reese from Ohio State, Ruben Bain from Miami, and then you get the receiver, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Of course, you got a couple of big linemen, as always, that are projected to be in the top 10. So I say no shot that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. And even though Arizona, in theory, needs one, if they're done with Kyler Murray, I think they should and they absolutely could run it back, stopgap with Jacoby Brissett, considering how well he did throwing the football to Michael Wilson and Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., who missed basically the second half of the season. Let's not forget they get James Conner back. They have other issues. They have massive issues defensively. They should be looking, like you said, for Reese or Bain, somebody to help that freaking defense out. So I think no chance of the top 3 picks going to be quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. Let's move on. The Giants, they had a chance to be the number 1 draft pick. Well, the Raiders laid down and said, no shot, we're winning this ball game. Well, then they messed around and got themselves out of the top 4 by beating the Cowboys. They're going to pick 5. Do you think the New York Giants go best offensive lineman, or should the New York Giants beef up that rush attack, right? Cam Scatterby was great last year. No guarantee that he comes back the same running back after we saw his foot literally turn backwards. Do the Giants go get Jeremiyah Love from Notre Dame?
Man, I would honestly love to see that as a fantasy nerd. That'd be a tremendous landing spot to pair up with Jackson Dart. And of course, you have the weapons downfield there with Malik Neighbors coming back. But you got Cam Scattaboo. We'll see what they do with Tyrone Tracy. Devin Singletary still on that roster as well. Like, I don't think that is necessarily a severe area of need. Frankly, again, I feel they're going to go defense as Ruben Bain doesn't go to Tennessee at 4. And we're to slip to them at 5. I would jump all over that opportunity. And I think wide receiver is still on the table for this team as well. Again, looking at the data there at Mock Draft Central, 33% of the mock drafters in that aggregate has them going at Jordan Tyson, the outstanding talent out of Arizona State at wideout, to pair up with Neighbors, to pair up as well with Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a terrific possession guy. So they may just add to a strength and try to outscore everyone. I'm still thinking of the scenario of, maybe Harbaugh and McDaniel somehow syncing up there. That offense could take off in a hurry if that were to develop that way again. I think that's far-fetched, but more than likely they're going to go defense in my mind. Now, I'd love to hear your perspective on this, Pat. You're a big Giants fan. You follow this organization ardently. I mean, if you were in the GM shoes, what would your pick be? You gonna go defense, you gotta go offensive line, or you gotta stack wideouts for Jackson Dart and hope you're gonna average like 30, 35 points a game?
No, I'm definitely going defense without a doubt. Defense without a shadow of a doubt. This offense has the nucleus. They have the talent, right? Malik Neighbors coming back, Scattaboo coming back, Theo Johnson at tight end, Wan'Dale Robinson, who had a tremendous second half of the season at wide receiver. Like, this offense is set, and the offensive line had been the biggest issue for the New York Giants over the last couple of years. And Mauigoa from Miami is projected to be the number 1 offensive lineman that gets taken. I mean, look, it's the Giants' offensive line finally stayed healthy for the first time this year, and they were pretty good. Like, they were okay. So I'm going defense. I mean, it was far away the biggest issue. The fact that the Giants lost 5 games this year, 5 games on the road, where they had a double-digit lead in the second half. Completely unacceptable. Their defense coordinator, Shane Bowen, was public enemy number 1, of course, but they just didn't have enough talent, and especially it's in the secondary. The pass rush was supposed to be the calling card for this team, and at times it was. Brian Burns was really good. Kayvon Thibodeau is hit or miss, and he was playing banged up, but, I mean, at this point, he's looking like a bust of a draft pick more than anything. Abdul Carter, who they took number 3 overall last year, benched twice to start a game. Because he reportedly was getting massage therapy in the facility and missed walkthrough. Just like, how does that happen, man? How does that happen? But they're not going to draft another pass rusher, so it's either linebacker or it's secondary. And I think that they absolutely forget about where he's getting mocked to get drafted, right? Because I see anywhere between 10 and 15, Caleb Downs, Ohio State, the Swiss Army knife of college football defenders, the best defensive back in college football this year. I want Caleb Downs on the Giants, and I think he can play that Kyle Hamilton role that we see on the Ravens. Caleb Downs would do that for the New York Giants, where he can play close to the line, he can play in the box, he can stop the run, he can cover one-on-one in the slot. You can even have him play slot corner. Like, he can do everything. That's literally why he was called the Swiss Army knife of college football. Caleb Downs can help this sieve Giants secondary and this horrible Giants defense. Caleb Downs is who I want for Big Blue. All right, let's move on here. Let's keep rolling. If you're the Cleveland Browns, Brad Evans, Pat Boyle, BetMGM tonight, Westwood One Sports, you want to get on the phones here, 310-840-4910, early NFL draft premonitions. Cleveland Browns are at number 6. Obviously, they need to find a new head coach. Kevin Stefanski gone. What would you do if you're the Cleveland Browns picking at number 6? Could they possibly, do they dare go and try to draft another quarterback here with Shedeur Sanders on the roster, Dylan Gabriel on the roster, Deshaun Watson as of this point coming back? What do you do if you're the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I'm not going to draft a quarterback. I would definitely stay the course, though, with offense. I got to look at wide receiver. That, to me, is their biggest area of need right now. They could go with Tyson out of Arizona State. Carnell Tate makes all the sense, right? Geographically, a guy from the OHIO. I think he's going to be an absolute stud at the next level, can run every single round the tree, wins in contested catch situations repeatedly. Jerry Jeudy is more of a WR2. He had some of his moments here and there. A guy that shot out last year when he had competency at quarterback. They got Cedric Tillman there, decent WR3, got the tight ends, and Harold Fannin was a breakout star. A guy is kind of a jack of all trades, working in the short to intermediate field. But to me, it's Carnell Tate all diggity day long.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's got to be receiver, whether it's Carnell Tate or it's Jordan Tyson, whoever you like better.
Yep.
Pick your poison, right? Like you said, they are set on defense. I mean, this defense is about as good as it possibly can be. Now, of course, year after year, there's turnover. There's guys that get better. I thought Andrew Berry did a great job of even the midseason trade, beefing up the secondary. Tyson Campbell, 99% sure they got him from Jacksonville. We know Myles Garrett is the best defensive player on the planet right now. And then Carson Schwarzenegger is most likely going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like, they're set on the defensive side of the ball. So it is offense. Now, it's not going to be tight end, like you mentioned. Fannin, hell of a rookie season. It's not going to be running back, Quinshon Judkins. And I agree with you. They're not drafting another quarterback. Like, QB1 to start the year for Cleveland, it's either going to be Shador or it's going to be Deshaun Watson. Now, that could present a problem in of itself, but you're not in a position. You're not trading up. You're not trading up. They did get all those picks from Jacksonville last year. So maybe if they do want to try to be aggressive, and if the Jets are stupid enough to let them move up to number 2, maybe they get Dante Moore. I think it's unlikely. I do think it's either receiver or it could be offensive line. What once was a staple for this team, Jack Conklin, Wyatt Teller, Batonio, those guys are kind of getting old, and those guys are struggling to stay healthy. So I wouldn't be stunned if the Browns went offensive lineman, but I agree with you, man. They need somebody that can be an explosive wide receiver one. So it's either Tyson or it's Carnell Tate as well for me. Let's move on. We've got the Saints going at number 8. Did the Saints find their franchise QB in Tyler Shough? We got some reports yesterday that they are moving forward with him as their starting quarterback. So I'll just go and answer that right off the top. There's no shot the Saints are touching the quarterback position. Tyler Shough may end up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's going to come down to him and Teteroa McMillan. Where do the Saints address their needs in April? What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, probably an edge rusher. That makes sense to me. Maybe a Kedrick Falk out of Auburn. Right now, again, Mock Draft Central has him going, but only like 13% of the mock drafts to New Orleans. Maybe David Bailey. Somehow, if Ruben Bain slipped, I don't think he'd be available at that juncture of the draft, but I think they're going to go defense. And I agree. Tyler Shough was great. Was he extraordinary? No, but he was more than good in my estimation. You don't buy what I'm selling you. Well, in the 10 starts that he finished number 12 in the entirety of the NFL among qualifying quarterbacks and adjusted completion percentage. Got Chris Olave there, and he had Devon Vele, who played quite well when he was healthy before he had a bow out last 2-3 games of the season. Like, offensively, Saints can add some other weapons a little bit later on the draft. But first and foremost, I think they got to shore up that defensive line and that pass rush. So they're probably going to go edge rusher, whoever is available, tops of their board at 8 overall.
And I completely agree with you again. At the sake of sounding boring here, I completely agree with you again. So let's move on and let's get one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And like you said, although, Vele was hurt, Bub Means was hurt, Mason Tipton was hurt, like these guys that maybe you're not expecting to be stars, but at least you're hoping are going to be getting 4 or 5 targets a game. Like these guys missed the majority of the season. So it's tough. The only other thing I wonder with New Orleans is, do they get desperate when it comes to Alvin Kamara? Do they try to go running back? Do they take Jeremiyah Love? That's going to be the question. Who's going to be desperate enough? Who's a team that's not a running back away from being a Super Bowl team that ends up taking Jeremiyah Love? Because I got a feeling maybe the Kansas City Chiefs go Jeremiyah Love at number 9 if he's there.
Yep.
I don't think he falls past Kansas City. I don't know if they really think that Isaiah Pacheco is as great of a running back as they thought he was maybe last year. It looked like a bargain in the 7th round. Then he got hurt, fractured leg, came back, wasn't the same. Kareem Hunt, how many more years are you going to roll out Kareem Hunt for carries inside the 10? I wonder if the Chiefs go Jeremiyah Love. Finally, though, really quickly, are the Chiefs and Bengals in the best position of any team in the NFL in this draft? Both teams have their cores. They're now both picking in the top 10. Do you think either team tries to trade up? If so, for who or what position? I just said I think the Chiefs, if Jeremiyah Love is there at number 9, I think that's who they take. And if you want to go Cincinnati's route, either way, Brad, between these two teams that were supposed to be AFC contenders, what do you think Chiefs or Bengals do?
Dude, I concur with you 10,000%. Like, you know, you're going to see the shot clock put up on television or the broadcast. I mean, the pick, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs have the next 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it is, to make their selection. They're not going to take more than a second to put in Jeremiyah Love's name. Andy Reid's going to be doing the running man in the center of the room when you cut away the camera. He'll be doing the Cabbage Patch, like all kinds of old school dances. He might break out the worm. I mean, it'll be just a party that will ensue in KC, because that is a missing piece. Jeremiyah Love is an absolute 3-down stud. If the Chiefs acquire him at 9, just go ahead and pencil him in right now to a deep run at a minimum in next year's NFL playoffs, because the Chiefs are going to be back and they're going to storm back with a vengeance, because, man, Jeremiyah Love is so damn good.
Yeah, and just really quick for Cincinnati, I mean, has there ever been a more obvious need on the defensive side? Two guys that may not be there at 10, Ruben Bain and David Bailey. Ruben Bain from Miami, David Bailey from Texas Tech. If those guys are both gone, then I think they go Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. I mean, literally pick a position in Cincinnati's defense other than corner DJ Taylor, and that's DJ Turner, and they need massive upgrades on the defensive side of the ball.